You know, I'm going to give you a history lesson.
We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country.
Stop laughing! And when I do, start.
Also, y'all did some nasty ass jokes on my ass too.
Funny jokes and unfunny jokes come out of the same birth.
You f***ing guys are unbelievable.
Why are you laughing?
Evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Why You Laughing, a history of comedy podcast, a bonus episode of that. And today, I'm pleased to introduce to you the Legion of Skanks versus Matt and Shane's secret podcast, Basketball Saga. I didn't know what else to call it, really. But basically, we're examining Big J. Okerson being a real baby about this, which was very weird. I don't know if this qualifies... I'm breaking my own rule here, because I don't know if this qualifies as part of a Why You Laughing history of comedy topic, because it's from about 2 years ago, March of 2022. Mm-hmm. But it's stuck in my mind because it's something that we absolutely should have broken down at the time. And I don't think I just hadn't figured out the podcast yet, maybe. I don't know why I didn't talk about this, because it seems like something we would have spent 2 hours on, like if it happened yesterday, you know,
2 weeks possibly.
Yeah, like this is right in my wheelhouse. So I don't know why I didn't talk about it. Maybe I thought people wouldn't be interested. I don't know.
We may have brought it up.
Yeah, but in the way, like, I probably just wasn't confident enough at the time to spend 4 hours on something I thought only I cared about, you know?
Then you realize everyone is into it.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing today. We're revisiting this because it is quite a saga, and it, as Craig was just saying to me before the show, it sours you on Big J. It's hard to shake. Mm-hmm. What if you love Big J and you don't think the man has a blemish on his record? Stop right now. Don't listen to this. I'll save you. Turn around and run. Because this is, like, I still like Big J. I go to Skankfest. He seems like a very nice guy. He's a great comic, obviously. But this does stick in the back of your mind, like, what a poor sport.
And every time you think he's joking, he's not.
He's not. So I don't want to get...
It's not like when you say like he's joking and like he's not. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm unsure. He gets nasty.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they kind of give him outs at times. They're like, "You're joking, right?" And he's like, "I am not. No, absolutely not." So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning here. Basically, and you know, I imagine if you're watching Why You Laughing, you at least have a cursory knowledge of who the Legion of Skanks are, certainly who Matt and Shane are at this point. At the time, they're pretty even podcasts in terms of notoriety. Like Matt and Shane was certainly on the ascent.
I was gonna say Legion of Skanks at the time might have been bigger.
It's weird to think like only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, man, like Shane was very successful at the time, but he wasn't. Like, he is a phenom now. He's a superstar.
It's crazy.
It's wild. And this is only from 2 years ago. So Matt and Shane are both guests on the Legion of Skanks podcast. They start talking sports. Oh, you know, the other reason I think this stuck in my head lately is because of KMS basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I think that might be why it's just crept into my mind. Because, like, Big J is a guy, like, on the KMS basketball team probably would be okay, you know? He's what I think he's probably what they want Justin to be. Put it that way.
Yeah.
He's not great, you know, which is why this is all so wild that this takes place. So on an episode of Legion of Skanks in March of 2022, the boys get a little drunk, a little high. Do keep in mind, Dave Smith is not there. It's Mark Normand and Matt and Shane. And the boys start talking sports, and then it gets into this.
Oh, yeah, the guy's got...
I've seen you guys play basketball.
Yeah?
You and Lewis.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm sure a guy making a layup.
Come get some.
Would shock
Shane,
you.
talk shit and come get some.
Okay, hold on. Right out of the... This is very interesting. Keep that in mind. And I know some of you are like, why is he stopping it right there? Shane is only talking about Jay and Lewis. Dave is not there. Jay says, come get some.
Talk shit.
Me and Lewis will take you. Talk shit, come get some. Me and Lewis will take you on. Keep that in mind for these later clips because it gets crazy.
Gun in the butt bet?
Yo, 5 on 5. 5 on 5.
Like a one-on-one? No. Like
Yo.
a fucking.
Gun in the butt? You and me one-on-one.
No, we'll do 5 on 5.
Sucks. Oh, boy.
MSSP guys.
I'll never bet one-on-one again.
Listen. 2-on-2. Me and Big J versus you and Matt.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
2-on-2.
So everyone, they're in. This is the bet. Now, within a few minutes, it does expand to 3-on-3, and they try to include Dave, which I think is our next clip. But just keep in mind, like, they were all hyped up, and originally Shane thought the bet was 1-on-1, and Jay said, no, I don't want to do. I need my guy Lewis by my side. I need the rattlesnake.
Keep that in mind for the end.
Yes.
I think, just to be fair, to make it Legion of Skanks, pick a third. We'll do Dave Smith.
Perfect. Okay.
Hey.
You get to pick a third.
Oh, no,
But
another
you're
world of comedy.
Got a comedy. Your friends in comedy. Somebody
All right,
from Philly.
We'll get Herman. We'll get Shaw.
Butterly, Rainey, one of these guys.
Wait.
One of these guys.
Dave's gonna
Gardini.
take his place?
We'll get
No, Dave Smith is the three of us. 3-on-3.
Yeah. We're gonna say
3-on-3
the
makes
kid.
total sense.
3-on-3 makes total sense.
3-on-3, it makes total sense, but they were in for 2-on-2. Now, if you know anything about Dave Smith, like I said, if you guys aren't familiar with the Legion of Skanks podcast, essentially the joke, and I don't know how true it is behind the scenes or anything, but the joke on the podcast is that Dave basically has 1 foot out the door. And I mean, it's even more true 2 years later. You look at the guy now; he's debating Chris Cuomo, and like he's actually like a big. He's introducing Trump on stage.
He's the biggest one by far on the show.
Absolutely, yeah. Not necessarily like his comedy career, but
No.
in terms of like popularity and following, he's definitely the biggest.
Correct.
Again, a lot has changed in 2 years, so that wasn't quite the case, but that still was always the joke that Dave has checked out. But even as far back as I've listened to Legion of Skanks, going all the way back to 2015, the joke was when Lewis and Jay do stuff, even like this, that's a little like not as shock jockey, like drinking challenges or anything like that. Even something like a basketball game, Dave is more reluctant than the other two. He's like the wet blanket of the three. That's the stigma around Dave. So you should go into any challenge knowing Dave probably won't participate.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. So we'll get to how that all played out, but basically, they set up the basketball game. Excuse me. Big J sets it up in his building. I guess there's a court in the building he lives in the city, and they set it up there. The Matt and Shane squad and the Legion of Skanks guys all brought their own camera crews. Dan Soder and Chris O'Connor announced the game. And I think we have a clip of that next, right?
Shane working the back. And the rebound, Gillis. Matt right over back to Gillis. Open shot. Game.
That's the game.
Matt and Shane, secret podcast.
11-0
11-0. Someone called the police. That was a domestic. Someone just got slapped around. Woof. Gonna hear about that on the bonfire.
I was hoping to see a little more heart out there from our Legion of Skanks.
Dan had no idea how true that was.
No kidding.
So, so you hear Dan doing like the, fake broadcaster voice. They're having fun with it in the booth. This is all in good fun. Like, you can't have a comedy basketball game. Also, do keep in mind, like, I wouldn't necessarily assume Matt McCusker is an athlete. He seems to be in good shape and everything, but I don't know what he did for sports when he was young or anything. Shane Gillis was a Division I athlete.
Yes.
Big J's a big guy. He is not as physically big and gifted as Shane Gillis in terms of athletics. So you should kind of assume, like, there's a chance we get our asses kicked. They lost 11-0. They got trounced. Also, the other thing is, like, the joke is that Lewis doesn't know how to do anything physical. He grew up without a dad. He can't throw a football. He can't do anything like athletic. That just wasn't part of his life as a young man at all. So why Jay thought it would be competitive is bizarre to me. Now, it actually made it a great comedy event. The fact that the Skanks got shut out because they were selling jerseys. You could have bought a Dave Smith, Big J Okerson, or Louis J Gomez jersey They sold basketball shorts with the Legion of Skanks logo. Big J got a guy from the Sixers, I think like the PA announcer, to do their intros.
I was just gonna say, before the next section, just know that he got uniforms made and hired the guy from the 76ers to introduce them.
But if you think this is a comedy game, it's hilarious that that team lost.
Yes.
That Louis J. Gomez comes into fucking fireworks and they lose.
Yeah, and the fact we didn't play much of the game. I mean, it doesn't matter. But Matt McCusker is crazy good at basketball.
So that's the thing they said they didn't know. They admit that in the episode. Is like McCusker grew up playing basketball. He's actually nasty. Like Matt and Shane were genuinely good basketball players.
Yeah, Shane's huge. He's getting all these rebounds, and Matt's like dribbling between his legs and shit.
Yeah. But there was a lot of shit talked in the Skanks episode we played where Jay is getting, like, he's very confident. Maybe I should have even played more of that just to display. But I think in those clips we heard, you could hear how confident he was. And it's like, well, you're going up against guys that are actual athletes. You two are stoners. Lewis has never played a sport in his life. Why are you so confident? But to me, that's neither here nor there. Like, for example, if I talked shit on the Kirk Minahan show, if I didn't know how good a basketball player Kirk was and said I could beat him, and then what would obviously happen unfolded, I think I'd try and have a good time with it.
Right.
Big J did not. This is the wildest reaction. I'm going to put it up there in comedy history as the wildest reaction, just based on the event it's surrounding. A silly 2-on-2 basketball game to 11.
We could end the guesses or what everybody knows already. The basketball game was a bust of a hang.
Hold on, already. What he's doing here. Start the clip over because I want you to get the full vibe. But what he's doing here is both sides filmed this to put out, and Big J just comes on and he's like, "Yeah, we will." All right, technical difficulties, so I don't know where I'm cut off here. But yeah, basically you see that Jay is just spoiling everything to be like, hey, don't even watch it, which is like, well, why is he doing that? So, all right, let's start that clip over.
We could end the guesses or what everybody knows already. The basketball game was a bust of a hang. Dave Smith didn't show up, and Shane demanded it then be, which in fairness to him, one person bails. Like they don't have to accept an alternate.
Listen to this tone.
And
who would the alternate be?
So it was going to be Dylan or Tom, two of the Gas Digital producers, which, like, Dylan's young and I guess good at basketball, which is why Shane was like, no, you're not bringing a ringer. We'll do 2-on-2 like we originally agreed. Now you hear Jay's tone where he's like, you know, in fairness to them, that's you know, that's they have that right to do that. So why are we talking about this game in that tone? It's four assholes playing basketball with each other.
The gods made it the original bet.
It's not fucking Jordan versus Kobe in some ultimate showdown.
And rather than it being fun, it was Lewis doesn't know how to play basketball, admittedly himself, and it was 11-0.
Are you guys both putting out the video?
Very quickly, huh?
Are both sides putting out the video?
I have no idea.
Because there was
I'm sure Shane will make a blooper.
I don't know.
Real.
Whatever, man.
There was like two different camera crews. There was like the Gas Digital and then the Matt and Shane crews just walking around with those weird tiny cameras on big things, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a fun watch for people to, you know, that want to shit on us and whatever. But that's
Chris O'Connor and I called it, so we were sitting away back at the broadcast table.
Completely waste of time, horse shit. It was awful. It was Dave not showing up. Fuck the whole thing.
Did he tell you
Shane wanting it to not be a competitive game at all? Fucking wrapped the whole thing early. So
not wanting it to be. You hear Dan, by the way, trying to do a radio show,
right?
Where he's like, "Well, everyone, you know, both teams had let me set it up. Everyone had their camera crews. We were calling the game, and Jay's just like, fucking horse shit, gay."
This next clip is just poor Dan.
Yeah, so this is the tone that Jay has the whole show. We'll focus on Shane for now. He keeps bringing up Dave. We'll get to Dave later because Dave has a pretty solid alibi that we will show you. But mainly he talks about Shane bullying him, and this is what Dan has to deal with throughout the show.
Your Lewis was
Yeah, you guys were exchanging misses in the beginning. The first like 3 possessions each, all were clanks off the rim.
I
So
hit
we
the
thought
ball 4 times total.
it was going back and forth in the beginning.
Yeah,
Because we were like, one of the jokes we made is like, this could go long unless someone starts scoring.
yeah, it was great. Super fun.
Poor Dan is right. Dan's like, you guys were going back and forth, missing. I thought this was going to be a long one. And Jay's like, we shot the ball 4 times total. I guess technically, yeah, but I'm just saying, like early on, it kind of seemed like this is how, like, I remember when I'm 4 years older than my brother. So, like, when we would play, like, games and shit, like sport type stuff.
Yeah.
He was kind of like this when I was like 8 and he was 4. And I remember that being very frustrating for me. Now, as an adult, I can say, well, he was a 4-year-old. So I'll cut him some slack. I don't think he would be like that now,
Right.
This is a man well into his 40s that is like, well, we only got 4 shots off. Lewis, not his fault, but he's not even good at basketball. That's why Shane and Matt took the bet, because Lewis is terrible.
And they offered up gun in the butt.
They offered up gun in the butt, and luckily that was not agreed upon. It was a straight $1,000. And here's the other thing: is like they got it sponsored. It was Fume, I believe, sponsored the event. So like no one lost any money, no harm, no foul. Jay lost at basketball. And it's funny for a guy that has handled, like, his best friend in comedy was Kevin Hart.
Right.
They were peers at one time. And Jay's like, hey, more power to him. Good for him. And yet he loses a basketball game and he can't get over it. It's bizarre.
Next we have Dave.
Okay, so they talk a little more. Just remember all this, file it away for later. When Dave gives his side of the argument, but this is Jay talking about Dave's absence.
Did Dave say he was doing it day of? Did he say he was doing it yesterday and then just at night was like, I'm not showing?
He said Monday night, everybody tried to get a hold of him during the day. Nothing until
Monday night, though. He was like, I'm good for tomorrow night.
Yeah. And then the next day, he just didn't respond to anybody. And then hour before bailed. So that just made it like a thing. And Shane wanted to rock the technicality of the 2-on-2, which was just like, okay, I guess. Great job, everyone.
But you guys
play basketball, and
you guys got some
you
new
guys know
unis.
how to play basketball.
You got some brand new unis.
Yeah, the whole thing was a legit waste of garbage.
Those shorts, those basketball shorts will be great.
No, but I mean, I said I'm sure the footage will be great, but to me, I'll never. As I said, wouldn't put myself extend my time like that to. I tried to get like production for it and shit, and make it like a fun thing, and it just was not at all.
So even all said and done, even getting that pair of Legion of Skanks basketball shorts, you're not pumped about those? You will be pumped about those in a couple months when you're sitting around in Skanks basketball shorts.
I remember that guy raped you, but he gave you that ice cream sundae.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ. Dan's trying his best to keep it light. The producers are playing the TNT basketball music.
Yeah, I don't think they quite realize he's not joking yet.
No, I think Dan does.
Yes.
And I think maybe the producers do, but yeah, you might be right. Where they're like, oh, perfect time for some wacky sounds. Because Jay's going into one of his classic bits. That's the funny thing is like Jay on the radio is great because he does very funny like characters and bits like that. So at first you might be thinking like, oh, is he doing the guy that would be sad, really sad about losing to Shane Gillis at basketball?
It turns out, yes, he is.
It seems he is. Yeah. So Dave, like I said, just keep in mind that Dave is known because I remember listening to this and being like, it didn't sound like Dave did confirm, but I don't remember, but we'll hear more about that later. But what he says about Shane is, that basically he says Shane was being a bully.
Yeah.
That demanded, it was almost like Dave didn't show up and Shane was like, well, then you have to use your retarded friend, Lewis. Lewis was going to be in the game. It was 3-on-3.
Yeah,
one guy didn't show up, so now it's 2-on-2. That seems like pretty sound logic.
Right.
especially when it's show versus show. And then it would like if you're doing it for content, it's like that's a thing about like to use the KMS basketball thing. When Kirk says like we want guys involved with the show, that makes perfect sense to me because in this basketball game, if you have their sales guy Tom that's decent at basketball, why do I give a fuck about watching that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just a guy I don't know out there. Like who gives
Right.
a shit? So for content purposes, that was absolutely the right way to do it. And I assume based on the tone you'll hear later from Shane, that Shane probably thought it was the funniest thing to make Lewis and Jay play against them. Jay compared this to a sexual assault.
That's how he feels. But here we have understanding.
Okay.
Surprised you're less, as a person who punches tables over video games, I'm surprised you're less understanding it all.
I'm understanding.
He's mad at Dan for not getting under the covers and weeping with him about this.
He's like, why aren't you rubbing my feet yet?
Because like that's not that far after the clip we just heard where Dan is just trying to talk about the game in like a lighthearted fashion and Jay's not having it, and eventually he says, I'm surprised you're not more understanding of this. Well, what is Dan supposed to do? Are both guys supposed to be like, fucking sucked, man? Anyways, what else is in the news? I don't know, this story's gay.
This is
Not-
Dan knowing
not good
this,
at anything.
This is the beginning of a 2-hour radio show.
Yeah, yes. And some people speculate it's the beginning of the end of the bonfire.
Right.
Because there are some clips that I couldn't find. I wish I could find the full episode. I didn't know what date this was released.
March 30th, 2022.
Damn it, it says it on there?
Yep.
Fuck. These eyes have fucked me again. I wish I saw that because then I would have gone back and found the full episode. But if you want to go on your own and find the full episode from March 30th, 2022, then find the part where he just rips on Christine. So again, for those that don't know, Christine Evans, who runs Skankfest, is also the producer of The Bonfire and is on every episode. And she's Jay's live-in girlfriend. They've been together for 10 years or maybe more. And Jay is so like consistently rude to her. But it really peaks in this episode because Jay is in such a bad mood that Dan goes like, do you guys have to bring your couple drama to this show? And then they kind of get into it about that. And listen, I don't know anything about these people's personal lives. What the fuck do I know? But it is like the speculation on the Bonfire Reddit that this was the day where Dan started to say like, all right, let me maybe find an escape hatch out of here.
Surprised you're less, as a person who punches tables over video games, I'm surprised you're less
Cry with me, Dan.
understanding it all.
I'm understanding. I'm understanding. I don't know. I'm not like upset because I watched the game. It was like 2-on-2. Lewis couldn't play.
For you to be upset by.
Yeah, but I watched the game. It was 2-on-2, and Lewis couldn't score, and you were, it was you and Shane. So it was.
See, that right there, by the way, is also Dan being a good co-host. He's like, yeah, Lewis couldn't score. They didn't
just
score
like
any.
A
They
good
didn't score any
friend.
points.
He can tell Jay is in a terrible mood for some reason.
But their team got 0 points. And he's like, yeah, Lewis couldn't score.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Lewis couldn't score. Well, that's the thing is like, let's say Dave was there. They would have lost 11-6. Is Dave great? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what does Jay think that's the difference maker there is gonna be? Because I think their third was Tommy Pope, who I think is also like pretty good.
Right.
Excited.
It was, yeah.
It was a lot. When McCusker showed up in the short shorts, I knew you guys. When it was 2-on-2, I knew you guys were in trouble.
I wouldn't.
What? How would you want me to be? Would you want me to be more like, yeah, fuck that, that was all fucked, or?
No, you don't have to be anywhere. I have no idea. But it's like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. My personality is much more of like, let's have a competitive, fun game for this thing instead of like, I was like, oh, well, sorry, only my sister showed up. I was like, yeah, well, we'll dominate that then. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
It's nothing like that because Lewis was part of the game.
And the original bet was 2-on-2, which we got.
Only my sister showed up. This is so weird. And Jay keeps talking about the work he put into it. Based on the history of the Legion of Skanks, I imagine, and again, I don't know what happens behind the scenes or anything, but what I would guess from just being a fan of the show is that the work was Lewis screaming at people to get shit done, and the producers taking care of the production elements of it, basically.
Right.
And again, that's just maybe that's a dumb fan assumption I have, but I don't know how much like behind the scenes work Jay had to put in for this basketball game.
He had to call the guy from the Sixers.
That's true. Yeah, he did do that. But again, as a comic, and Jay loves shit like that. As a comic, I'm surprised he didn't appreciate how funny that was. That the team that got smoked had the Sixers announcer go, "Big J Okerson."
That is very funny.
Right?
Here we have Game for Money.
Oh yeah. So like they were playing for money. So this is all like he gets very hung up on this. Like I said, it was sponsored. I don't know what the big deal is.
I mean, it sucks. Losing 11-0 is going to suck, no matter how.
Yeah, but were we
happens.
going out there for like a fucking like?
You guys are going out there to play for money.
For a bully to beat a nerd, or are we going to play a game for money? That's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
a game for money is you're going to try your hardest, and then if it's like competitive, it's going to be competitive if it's competitive. You're going out there to play for money, so both people are going to try their hardest. That's what I'm saying. So they went out and it was like, it sucked that you had Lewis. You were by yourself. You had Lewis. Dave bailed. That sucked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a waste of time.
It's all Lewis's fault.
It wasn't a waste of time. The whole thing was that Lewis was the reason the bet happened is that Lewis is bad at basketball, and you said we'll beat you guys 2-on-2. That's the whole joke of it.
Well, here they are talking about the original bet.
By the way, Lewis is taking a beating in this, and like Lewis and Shane almost got in a fight on the court if you watch the game.
Yeah.
And yet Lewis takes it like a champ.
Oh yeah.
He was laughing his ass off about it. He didn't give a fuck.
When the bet was made, was it 3-on-3? Were you like, this is a 3-on-3?
Shane's arguing that it was 2-on-2 to begin with, is the whole thing. But I mean,
that's what him and Lewis were talking
about. Hold on. We heard it, so we know.
We did hear it.
Yeah.
We didn't leave the episode without it being 3-on-3. It wasn't like we came back another meeting.
That's the thing I'm saying is if the bet was 2-on-2, that was the bet. And then did it bump up to 3-on-3, or was the bet made 3-on-3?
The bet was made 3-on-3.
No.
But the bet was
Dan knows, that's why he's saying that.
I know. Yeah, Dan is aware that Shane is right. And also, you know what? I guess I did mention it, but I didn't focus enough on it. Dave was not on the episode.
Right.
So it would be like if I was like, you weren't on the show this past week. It would be like if we got in a conversation and I was like, oh, David Collins, when you come to Boston, Craig is going to pay for such a meal for you. Oh my God. He's going to take the three of us out to lunch and we are going to dine like kings.
Yeah.
And then the next episode I come back and I'm like, fucking Craig bailed on his dinner promise.
Bump up to 3-on-3, or was the bet made 3-on-3?
The bet was made 3-on-3. But the bet, I'm saying, but the bet with the initial thing we said was the 2-on-2 thing, and then it was 3-on-3. It doesn't matter. Listen, it's a fucking basketball game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, who gives a shit? I'm just saying. I see more of my annoyance of the thing was like putting effort into anything for a night that was complete. I mean, complete waste of time for me.
Complete waste of time.
He keeps calling it a complete waste of time. What if it was Jay and Lewis, or what if, like, let's say it was Jay, Lewis, Dave, Matt and Shane's third don't show up. Dave sits out and Jay and Lewis win. Would that be a waste of time? You know what I mean?
I think everyone went in like, oh, we're going to play basketball. It'll be funny.
It's actually, I'm realizing like it's kind of frustrating to talk about this episode because we're talking about like child's arguments.
Yeah. Which is a perfect segue for this is the clip that you're going to go, ew. This is cutting ties.
Guys, just remember, this was 2 years ago. Don't judge Big J on this. He's recovered. He's fine now. But this is tough.
There's a sponsor that paying the whole fucking thing off.
So there it is.
There wasn't even,
so no one lost any skin.
It's just, yeah, dude.
The intro with that score is funny.
It's just like, it's the thing. Like my energy is low for like, this made me feel like I just won't extend my time to anything anymore. Save your podcast, everybody. Save your shows you want me to come do on the weekdays. It ain't happening. I'm taking my free time to myself. That was
he
fucking
lost a fucking basketball game.
I like won't speak to Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker anymore. By the way, it's funny how that changed pretty quick.
No shit.
But it's funny to even have the mentality like, that's it. I'm not doing your podcast ever again. Any favor you ever ask of me, not happening. Because you beat me at basketball.
Because you're better at basketball.
lame. That was lame. And I just put time into it. They get in the building to like approve us even do. You know what I mean? It was the whole thing. It was just like, hey, want to come?
Getting in the building. You live
it was.
It was really hard to set up this place I live at.
He lives there.
It felt like fucking Big Brother, like splatting a fucking egg on your head and pointing at you in front of all your friends. Like, okay, well, this was so cool.
Well, from now on, that will never happen again. There will never be another bet. We will never do that again moving forward.
Me and Lewis have a bet still for a gun.
Well, I say call it off, Jay.
Well, no,
it's fucking pull it. I say pull all bets.
This is Dan getting slowly annoyed.
And it's Dan being like, do you see how ridiculous that would be if I didn't allow you to bet anymore with your friends? But he's literally saying he's going to cut ties with Shane Gill. And by the way, we said it's because Shane's better at basketball than him. No, it's because the combination of Shane and Matt are better than him and Lewis, which Lewis has never played a sport in his life other than jiu-jitsu fighting.
Right. And he's tried for real, and he's lost, and he's like, all right.
Right. Yeah. Like, it wasn't that big a deal. But Jay, and here's what's interesting. What we're listening to is over the course of a few days, weeks, actually, I think, because, well, maybe the date on the screen again for me and make me look like an asshole. But this bonfire is it's the next day after the basketball game. But then when Matt and Shane are on later, that's at least a week later. So Jay isn't able to shake this mood for a long time.
Oh yeah, this is like a 2-week thing.
Yeah.
Next we have awkward radio.
Yeah, so this is Dan basically saying like, well, we're at the beginning of the show now. We got 2 hours left. Like, what do we do here?
To cover it on Skanks with Dave, or at least talk about it.
I don't think so. I think it's being completely put, or maybe when Matt and Shane will come on and talk about it or whatever. But
well,
I think maybe in a week or so they can come on.
I'm glad it could make the beginning of our show awkward. I'm glad that problem could breach our show. You know, if you guys are going to bring it up on Skanks, I'm glad we could do it here.
What's good radio anymore, man?
I'm kidding, dude. I'm fucking busting balls.
What's good radio? I'm
busting.
Tell me, don't bring everything out. It's like, don't bring it to the show. Like, what are we doing? Are we sharing our lives?
Your balls. I'm busting your balls. Did you think I was being serious when I called this an infomercial for Gas Digital Network 2 weeks ago? No, I was kidding.
I don't remember that, but that sounds hilarious.
Yeah, I'm fucking kidding.
Just for the record.
So Jay's like, what's good? As if he's like pretending and making good radio.
What's the point of life, man?
Well, it's actually not good radio if you're going, it was just a waste of time. Let's not even talk about it. That's actually not good radio. Like, it is good radio because we're interested in this. But I'm saying if you're the host, you can't just be a mope and not give anyone anything and be like, it was a waste of time. I hate Shane. He was a big bully, and I'm never going to hang out with him again. Isn't this great radio, guys, that I'm doing? Aren't I just like Howard Stern? It's tough for me because I love Jay. This is me being unbiased here.
Oh man, dude, when I first, I think this might be like when I stopped listening to Legion of Skanks, like every day, every week.
Yeah, I remember I had to take a break. This was tough, and that's why I said at the beginning, like, if you like Jay, if you follow a lot of his stuff, like, turn around because it will sour you on him.
And we're not done. This is the last.
Not
clip.
even close.
This is the last clip from the bonfire, though.
Okay.
This feel better.
Well, it makes me feel better.
Or whatever.
I got sore throat from doing broadcaster voice the entire time.
Why would that make me feel better?
I don't know. 'Cause, you know.
Poor Dan. Where that's a pretty natural thing to say. You're trying to empathize with the person. Obviously, he doesn't think it'll make... I mean, it should make you feel... You shouldn't feel any badness about this.
Right.
But Dan's like, well, hey, if you make me feel better, like, I had a shitty time, too. I was doing that dumb broadcaster voice, and now my throat hurts. Why would that make me feel better?
You can definitely hear Dan is legitimately pissed. So they might be onto something about this being the beginning of the end.
This makes you feel for like, is this what his arguments with Christine are like? That poor woman.
She is into women.
That's fair.
Well, it makes you
White
feel any
balls
better.
or whatever.
I got sore throat from doing broadcaster voice the entire
Why would
time.
that make me feel better?
I don't know, because it's a waste of time. So
That's what you would say. Like, hey, Dan, my child was drowned in the river, and they can't find the killer that did it. Well, if it makes you feel any better, my throat hurts. Why would that make me feel any better? That's the appropriate response. Not like, hey, Dan, I lost to Shane and Matt at basketball. Well, if it makes you feel any better, my throat hurts. Why would that make me feel any better? Why would you even say that?
Had a shitty time.
It's not a waste. No. Let me correct what I'm saying, by the way. It wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't a waste of time at all. It was, in my eyes,
It was a waste of your
it was a
time.
complete waste of my time. And that's the position I have to not put myself
I understand
in
that
anymore.
sentence. It was a complete waste of my time.
I've not put myself in that position anymore.
Totally.
And just
Still
like,
was.
and also, it would be a thing if I was like making some sort of just like it would affect the way I couldn't think of another situation outside of a sports bet against each other. But like, I just wouldn't put myself in a situation like that with like Shane again. Do you know what I mean? Tell you, my buddy Glenn, one time we were meeting up these 3 girls. He went off and ran off with the 3 girls. Didn't talk for a month, and then I was like, you know what, dude? I'll never be in a position where you can do that to me again.
Yeah.
I'll just
Abandoning you is the same thing.
Where you could do that to me again. I'll never podcast with Shane Gillis again because he beat me at basketball. It's It's a wild episode of the Bonfire, and like I said, now that you know what date it is, which I'm a fucking idiot, I'm so mad because those Christine clips are pretty interesting. So I recommend you go listen to them. But it's a wild episode of radio where you want to shake this guy and be like, snap out of it. It's fine.
And like, I don't know. I don't think it's. Do you have when Shane was talking about basically Jace talking about him like that? Is that in here? I don't remember.
Yes, that's the next
Oh,
one.
Okay. never mind.
But what's interesting is like, if you had like some sort of comedy related blunder, you know what I mean? Like something related to your career. Even if I think it's minor, I'd be like, part of me I still might say he's a baby, but like if he had some horrible, like if a clip of him went viral that was embarrassing or something, I would get this vibe. But it's like, Jay, do you think the audience now doesn't respect you because you're not as good at what was your opinion of what we thought of you at basketball before? You know what I mean? Like, do you think like we held you in such high esteem? Like it was Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem, and Big J.
That's right. Here we have Shane's response.
Yeah, so this is from Matt and Shane the day, or maybe a day or two after the bonfire. Shane heard what Jay was saying. I'm going to cut ties with this guy. And Matt and Shane have the appropriate attitude about it.
So we'll see, because tonight we're going to go do Legion of Skanks.
Yes.
I pray it goes well.
So do I. I want
Because-
the best.
Some guys are acting like salty babies.
Yeah, dude.
And I feel like I'm allowed to say that based on the way Jason treated me on the bonfire. He went on
It's
there.
so funny to hear their tone, because if you just listen to the bonfire and then you listen to this, you're like, it snaps you back. You're like, oh yeah, this was a basketball game.
Right.
In the bonfire, you would think Shane raped Jay's mother, daughter, and girlfriend.
You listen to the bonfire and you're giving Jay the benefit of the doubt. You're like, something happened after the cameras turned off.
Yeah, you're like, we're not getting it. Maybe Shane was a real dickhead. And then you hear this and you're like, oh yeah, he had this attitude about it. I forgot.
Nasty
He
things
made some
about
good
me.
points, dude. I was like, dude, I don't trust him.
Yeah, it's like, look, I love Shane, but he's just not one of those guys I trust at all anymore. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck happened?
That was crazy. That was crazy. I hope we can just bring light to the situation going back there today, because that'll.
I'm afraid, dude.
So is the next them on? Oh, I think we have one more from them on Matt and Shane, right?
Yeah. This is a prediction.
Okay, so another one for you guys to keep in mind. See if you think Shane was right about this, the attitude that Jay has when they walk into Legion of Skanks.
No, I hope he finds peace in this situation.
He
has to find the humor in it eventually. You know how funny it is. You know how funny that
I
situation
know him.
is.
He's gonna be like, yeah, it's funny, I guess. Yeah. He's like, no, I see it. I understand why it's funny. It's just like
This is actually a great Jay.
It's got his. It's like it's Trump. He's got the essence nailed.
Yeah. No,
Cool.
I mean, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I get it.
just not cool. Like it'll be like that.
No, he has to be like, no, it's genuinely funny, and I'm having a laugh. It's a funny thing. It's funny.
So,
That ain't gonna happen, bro.
well, we'll see as we get into these clips. But Matt and Shane now they talk about on this episode. They're like, we are talking like we're not going to antagonize him, but we are going to be the biggest pricks.
Yeah.
And they came in with champagne. And we're pouring it. And as Jay was complaining, Shane would go, Matthew, you need a refill? So also, Dave is back on the show. So this is the first time all these guys have been back in the same room. It's the first time they've discussed what happened on the bonfire. So Dave has some gripes with what Jay said. Jay has gripes with everyone except for Lewis, pretty much. And Matt and Shane obviously want to respond to what Jay said on the bonfire. So now we are going to Legion of Skanks for about a week later.
Was Jay?
Well, it was the night that Matt and Shane was recorded, but it came out the next week.
Okay.
You did not
that's right,
take anything well that day.
Can I tell you, from the perspective of a first-time bonfire listener, first time, long time, not nearly as fun as I thought the bonfire was going to be. A lot of you and Soder doing voices, going off on tangents.
We got there.
Yeah, that is. If you were listening to that show for the first day, you'd be like, "This is very sad. What did this guy's friends do to him?"
No one had time to listen to that.
You only listened to the first part? Yeah, all right. That's fair.
So yeah, Jay, you look, you were very sad on the bonfire. Now are you completely sad?
Okay. What I love about Lewis goes on Reddit,
Yeah.
and he knows what everyone's saying about Jay. And it's very funny to kind of tiptoe around and I don't know how to approach this. But you were very sad on the bonfire.
Blind Mike, who used to work for Barstool. Blind Mike, go watch Blind Mike Geary's podcast. Blind Mike.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's continue this.
You were very sad on the bonfire, and now are you completely over it? Are you over it?
Yes, but I was.
Disregard everything.
No. I don't know if sad. I was definitely.
I will tell you, I talked to Michael Bisping the day after he lost his UFC middleweight title, and he was 10 times happier than Jay was.
You win some, you lose some.
Mate. All right.
Yeah, I didn't know Jay was sad. I had no idea.
No, I was annoyed.
Oh, good.
Bisping got the shit kicked out of him. He lost an eye, for God's sake. Yeah, so you can tell Jay's his tone is better, but again, this is much later. I don't know the exact timeline, but this is he's had days to cool off, and he still. That's what's crazy is maybe if Shane made that shot to make it 11-0, it was actually 12-0 because they fucked up the scoring.
Right.
Shane makes that shot to make it 11-0, and they record the bonfire right then. Maybe I would allow that fucking attitude.
Yeah, as it's happening.
Maybe I would say, okay, I get he's a competitive guy, he's in the heat of the moment, whatever. He had a day to cool down. Now he's at a week to cool down, or whatever it's been at this point. So it's just crazy as we keep going.
Pointed at yourself at all yet?
I have no problem.
For what?
No, not you.
Great question, Shane.
For what?
It's a perfect question.
Pointed at yourself at all yet?
I have no problem.
For what?
No, not you.
Oh, him? Okay.
Jay.
I'm killing it.
For what?
You blamed everyone else for how this went. The bet you made where you lost.
So what do you mean?
The bet you made that you lost.
When we walked off that first show, it was 3-on-3.
Yeah, you added a guy after we shook on 2-on-2, which was a little shady, but fine. That's fine. And then that guy didn't show up. So let's go back to the 2-on-2, which you shook again.
Who is this guy who didn't show up?
You shook on it again
Fill me
at the
in.
gym.
Okay.
I said, look, if we're gonna do this for money, we should do.
Dave, can I say that, by the way? Dave, like, I think Dave gets shit on by like Legion of Skanks fans. I think he might be the most important part of the bond. Like his sarcastic quips, I think, add a lot to that show and keep things light at times.
I was gonna say, I think Jay and Lewis would have fist fought by now if he wasn't on there.
Right? Yeah, I think he's an integral part to that program.
At the gym.
Okay.
I said, look, if we're going to do this for money, we should do the 2-on-2 bet. We can do whatever after. You go, yeah, okay. Shook on it again. Then we did exactly what we told you we were going to do the whole time.
Was he wearing gloves
like,
when he
I can't
shook?
believe it.
If your hands didn't touch his hands, it technically didn't count.
He was not wearing gloves.
Damn it.
Was it not a gloves day?
No.
No, I think we should have been on a 3-on-3 to have any sort of a competitive game. Lewis
what
doesn't
happened
know
to-
how to play basketball.
Yeah,
You don't know how to play basketball. Fuck you, dude. I rule.
Also, he beat you when you played.
Right.
But why? The reason we made the bet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I forgot. That might be adding to this. So Jay made a bet with Lewis. That was the original gun in the butt challenge, I believe.
Right.
That Jay would beat Lewis by like X amount of points. Like Lewis had was handicapped basically because he's not good at basketball. And Lewis, I think, just straight up beat Jay.
Yes. Yes, he did.
I forgot. I'm so glad Shane threw that in there. I forgot about that.
Know how to play basketball.
Yeah,
You don't know how to play basketball. Fuck you, dude. I rule.
Also, he beat you when you played.
Right.
But why? The reason we made the bet, I wouldn't make $1,000 gun in the butt bet unless I was certain we would win.
Yeah, it's crazy the pride that Jay like Jay genuinely, because I think like they talk a lot about Jay being lazy and like not writing enough material and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just like raw talent and like comedic abilities, he's one of the best comics. Ever, like
He's
ever.
very-
Like he's
very
he's a hilarious guy. The idea that he takes such pride in being good at basketball. It's bizarre. I don't understand it.
It's just one bugaboo.
I don't get it. And the weird thing is, like, you could shit on his comedy, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's very sensitive to him for some reason.
Next we have crazy shit. This is that clip I was telling you about before.
Okay, yeah. So I'll see where this ends. But yeah, this is basically Lewis pointing out that Jay said some off the wall stuff on the bonfire.
I want to see you free yourself from this burden, man. Just let it go. It's
I've had a
Let it go.
Matt, that's where you got to give the shaman, Matt McCusker, where he's like, he's concerned for Jay's like well-being.
Right.
This guy might kill himself.
He might.
I want to see you unburden yourself.
He's so affected he might still be thinking about this like right now.
I want to see you free yourself from this burden, man. Just let it go. It's
I've had a
Let
great
it go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah.
Let's have fun.
Oh, I'm fine.
Yo,
For sure.
See, Shane nailed it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You should see the smile on his face right now.
It's fine. It's funny to watch a man, because rarely in life do you get that opportunity to watch someone behind the scenes be like, "Here's what's going to happen,"
Right.
and then it exactly plays out the way you predicted.
Weird with anybody like
I'm not friends with anybody anymore. I'm fine.
No. Here's the thing.
Was
Jay,
that weird with anybody?
No,
like
you weren't,
that?
Jay. Can I defend
Yes,
you
you
right
went
now?
on a bonfire and trashed me.
No,
What are you
yes.
talking about?
Yeah. What? Because I said it was bitch harder that you wouldn't do a 3-on-3?
no, you don't.
No,
That's
that you were
complaining all of a sudden.
You're like, I guess that's who Shane is. I guess I don't trust him anymore. It's like, what the fuck? I was high when I heard this, and I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't say trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say,
I didn't
look,
say
I'm
trust.
gonna get you back.
It's
I'm gonna get you back, but you did say some crazy shit. At one point, Jay said, he's like, I don't think I can do things with my friends anymore.
By the way,
sentence I say?
yeah,
If
it was a
anyone-
bet you made.
If
I don't
anyone, by the way, is
I don't
down to
recall.
go
What you think?
Jay's like I think he's trying to be funny a little bit,
Trying.
but he's also kind of like,
Still sad.
yeah, I didn't really do that. No, not really.
I'm misremembering this.
If anyone is down to go to Jay's house and do what he wants to do, I promise you, he's
Okay,
still
we're good.
completely down to do that. So,
You good?
Yeah.
All right.
What's the next one?
The next one is this is one of my favorites. Is this last whole chunk is great because of Dave Smith, but this is Rogan.
Okay, so this is wild. And again, I'm talking about like how you can trash Jay's comedy and you can't trash his basketball skills for some reason when it should be the opposite. It is crazy how in Jay's mind Dave should have held this basketball game. So this is where you start getting into the trial of Dave Smith. Why Dave didn't show up and all these things. And Jay's very mad at Dave, and we'll hear what Dave's responsibilities were that week
for the game.
Because listen, I have maintained the whole time that I very likely may not be there for the game that I never agreed to, that I first was aware of finding out about a week beforehand and said, that day doesn't really work very well for me. And then the day before, I gave several clues
Got with Austin twice for Joe Rogan in a week.
Now, hold on. Before Dave says anything, immediately I assume everyone's reaction would be, Joe Rogan?
Must not be
obviously.
Jay wouldn't be talking about Joe Rogan like that.
Even if Seth Rogen called him, I would do that too.
Right.
It is true that I have a slightly different respect for playing a 3-on-3 pickup game in your house than I do for going on the biggest show in the world. I treat those as slightly different opportunities.
Does Joe Rogan pay your money? No.
Well, actually, we did 2 stand-up shows, and he paid me very handsomely for those shows that we did. But
that was very strange reaction too, going into his wallet.
Does he pay your money? Jay doesn't pay Dave either. Gas Digital does, which is Lewis's company. Jay's a big part of that show, obviously. But
I mean, that show doesn't start without him, but it doesn't continue without Lewis.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know. Should Lewis be bitching at Dave too? That basketball game wouldn't have made Dave, comparatively, wouldn't have made him $1 compared to, I don't think the mothership was open yet, but doing dates with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, which was probably arenas.
Right.
And they sold jerseys and shit. They made so much money from this thing.
It was sponsored. They didn't lose money
right.
on anything.
They didn't have to rent the fucking court. It was in his house.
A game in your house as opposed to doing stand-up with Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan experience.
Next, we have the subtle hints that Dave laid out.
So that was kind of weird that Jay gets snippy with him for that. But also, Dave maintains, I didn't tell anyone I would be there. And they kind of go back and forth, and Jay is like, I think you did say you were going to be there. And Dave has... I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but Dave has what he considers proof that he alerted them to the fact that he would not make this basketball game.
Hey, can I just say, on the topic of me committing or not committing to go, Bobby, I believe you have some evidence for me.
What?
I'm old and fucking beat up and not going to be valuable if I'm a part of this.
Hey, I'm out. Tom, you want to take my place in this game? It's not a matter of not caring because I wasn't here for the bet, although that's part of it. It's just, dude, I've been on the road every single weekend and I got for 3 weeks, for 6 weeks, and I got 2 little kids at home and I live an hour outside. Jay, this is the first anyone's told me next Tuesday, and it doesn't really work for me.
We said March 29th.
I've asked what the date of this is several times.
We should have said it was a Libertarian Party basketball game.
Next Tuesday night really not work for you? It's pretty rough.
No, it's okay.
Hold on, let's pause real quick. That was Jay in real time at the time saying we should have told him it was a Libertarian Party. Yes. Major things in Dave's career he would have missed for this basketball game. These aren't good comparisons.
He's like the leader of the Libertarian Party now.
Yeah, they want him to run for president.
Yes.
Yeah, he should miss the pickup basketball game against Matt McCusker.
He has no shot at becoming president as a Libertarian because of this show you do with him, Jay.
Should he have been guarding Tommy Pope or saying, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Rogan?
Shout out Tires, by the way. Hilarious.
Yes.
Rough.
No, it's okay.
All right.
We would have won that
down.
one.
Can I zoom into this?
No,
game?
Dave, you have to be present.
Yeah, I have to be there. Jay, if you're upset that I haven't made the practices, get ready to be pissed. I'm pretty sure I'm going to miss the game. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to miss it.
God damn it, Dave.
This is Monday.
I'll be there.
Yeah. What a dummy I was to believe him.
Have an alternate ready. No, it's not just you.
Hold on, go back. Go back. How does Jay not know there's going to be a reveal in this clip?
They're not going to help your point with this
Yeah.
video.
Oh, what a dummy I was for believing that. Yes, Jay, you were, because why would he have included that?
What a dummy I was to believe him.
Have an alternate Reddit. No, it's not just you and Lewis who have a big game coming up. It's also
Damn it,
Dylan.
Dave. Would you say there's a chance you're not coming at least?
Oh, I wouldn't put it that way. I'd say we're gonna fucking wreck those guys, but you two got it without me. And then Dan asks, "Did Dave commit to going to the game?" And Jay, without hesitation, goes, "Yes."
Dave, by the way, that's more work than Jay put into the basketball game.
Cutting that, yeah.
But yeah, Dan asked him, did Dave commit to go? And Jay goes, absolutely, he did. Yes.
Yes.
Dave's like, what the fuck?
We're at our last clip here.
So it's interesting to me that like Jay couldn't even laugh at that. He's like, oh yeah, what a dummy I was for believing that. Oh, well.
He's so dumb. He didn't even fucking let the clip finish.
I bet if the libertarians called, you'd be going to that, wouldn't you? Gay taxes and shit. Yeah. All right. So this is the last clip. It doesn't absolve Jay. There's no resolution here. It's just, time heals all wounds, and eventually he was fine. But this is the last clip that I have from that episode of Legion of Skanks.
No, Jay was like, is there a mercy rule? I was like, no, I want a shutout.
Yeah. It's a shutout either way.
I wanted the shutout.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you made the bet. This is what we told you would happen.
Hell yeah,
it
dude.
happened. What do you mean,
showed
hell
me,
yeah?
bro?
Why are you doing that?
We're sporting men.
What do we do? We lost 11-0. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. Not cry about it. We literally made a bet.
I haven't cried once about this.
Have you not cried?
Not once.
Okay, maybe not literally, Jay, but you get what they're saying. Like, why are you being like this? It's so
That's what
frustrating.
happens when people get like this. They get very literal.
Am I crying? Do you see tears in my eyes right now? Are my eyes welling up? Like, do you think that I'm weeping? Like, what?
I'm not fucking
Well,
crying.
You know what I mean, man. Like, metaphorically crying.
All right.
Nice.
It's not a good look.
Jay didn't cry.
Not a good look.
Jay
What is it?
didn't cry. Jay didn't cry. Jay didn't cry.
I think it's a weird thing to brag about.
What are you talking, dude? I suck at basketball. I've said it from the start.
Right.
But we're better than you.
Can I say,
Okay.
Jay? Can I
That's
play
it.
devil's advocate? Because
What do you think you guys are
Doing.
brag
it's-
about.
I wish Jay, for his sake.
If we
Pause real quick. I wish Jay, for his sake, listened to Matt and Shane before,
Yeah.
because he's doing exactly what Shane said he would do.
To the word almost.
Okay, like fine. Like, what do you want me to do?
better than you.
Can I say,
Okay.
Jay? Can I
That's
play
it.
devil's advocate? Because
What do you think you guys
they
would do
should
if you
they
won?
should brag about it.
Huh?
That's why
Do
they're
you think
here.
you would brag if you won?
That is why.
if we won
The basketball game.
there's no chance of us winning that game.
Well, that's why we made the bet. Yeah.
What?
We established this.
Okay.
That's the point of the bet. But let's say somehow you won.
Right.
Let's say you
Do
won
you think
12
you might
nothing.
have bragged.
I can't even put myself in that position because we were not.
But you were in that position when you made the bet.
I can't
So
even
what
imagine.
happened?
I don't know because I said before, as soon as I saw you guys play, I was like, everybody can play.
Yeah, but that was
so no
after
matter
you
what,
made the
3-on-3, no matter what, we're playing with one person who doesn't know what the game is.
Can I say?
The guy
Yes.
that beat you.
Can I
3-0.
say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Thank you, Lewis. Well, Lewis, that's why I have such admiration for Louis J. Gomez, is that he just has the right attitude about that stuff. Like he does not let that stuff phase him the way it does Jay, and it's just very funny. And people rip him on the bonfire subreddit and shit. Like this was tough for Jay to recover from because some people have a certain opinion of him now. And it's hard to shake when you hear that. I still think Jay's obviously a very talented comedian, but Jesus, those are some rough clips.
He puts out terrific YouTube reels.
Absolutely, yeah. No, very funny guy. But yeah, you heard Shane saying that, like warn him basically, like this is a bad look what you're doing.
Right.
Jay just can't shake whatever that is. Like it's a sore loser. It's I don't know what makes that, because I don't think Jay was like an athlete as a child. You know what I mean? It's not like he was some spoiled brat jock.
Right.
So I don't know what creates that in him, but it was not a good look for him. And it was tough to shake.
He played organized soccer as a young child.
Right.
like everybody else.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, there's no resolution. It's not like some of the other stories that we tell, but I just thought it was interesting. And I encourage you, if you are interested, go back and listen to the whole thing. And like I said, find that Christine stuff that I mentioned to you. Or if you want to preserve your image of Big J. Okerson, avoid that. Don't listen to it.
Don't go near it.
Yeah. But I always found that pretty interesting. And it's been in my head for 2 years. I've been slapping myself on the wrist for not talking about it.
Mhm.
So I'm glad I finally got it out of my system and we talked about it here. I don't know. Anything else before we get out of here?
It's just the perfect story. I love it so much.
Yeah, and like I said, with the KMS basketball craze, I thought it was a good time to bring that in because it's like Kirk's a very competitive guy. Like if he got in a fucking fight on the floor, and then the next day they're able to joke about it and have fun, talk about it like it's a comedy show. You know,
Right.
That's what's crazy about all this is like days and weeks later he wasn't able to just be like, oh yeah, I am being kind of a baby about this.
Yeah, you guys fucking won. So what?
Yeah, it's fine. What? I'm fine. It's conversations you have to have with your girlfriend where I'm like, I know you're saying the words "I'm fine," but you're saying them so angrily that I'd be insane if I believed it.
You understand? I know you so well. I know you're lying to me.
Right. You're doing a thing where you're telling me you're lying, but with your tone.
Right.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to recommend any bonus episodes we should do in the future. Leave them in the comments. And if I like them, I'll put them on my list. And we'll talk to you guys later on Why Are You Laughing?
Zip it up and zip it out.